Hello, everybody, and welcome to another special sneak peek of Spiderversity. This time, because our patrons voted on it, Sal and I will be covering the first 2 episodes of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the new animated series on Disney+. Now, before we get going, I wanted you to know that we have finished covering the entire show. So if you would like to hear our thoughts on the rest of the season, you can check that out over at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. I also watched the episodes as we covered them. So as I'll mention in the episode, I hadn't seen anything past the 2 episodes we are covering today. And I do want to let you all know, my opinion of the show evolved as we went on. I wasn't too keen on the first couple episodes, but by the end, well, I guess you'll have to go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers to find out. Also, I mentioned the Kickstarter for my comic, Danger Boy and the Antagonist. That Kickstarter is complete, but if you missed it, you can still pre-order the comic by going to dangerboycomic.com and clicking on the pre-order store link. Enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spiderversity. Guys, we were on hiatus, but we're back. I put it up to a vote, gosh dang it, and you all said, yes, you want to hear Sal and I talk about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and we did. We just said, okay, we just finished out season 2 of X-Men the Animated Series over Mutant Academy. Now, Mutant Academy's on hiatus. Ooh, how the tables have turned. Mutant Academy's on hiatus. Spider-Verse is back. I'm your host. That part's important to say. DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Sal. Sal, how do you feel about the return of Spiderversity?
Oh man, I mean, you know, I was kind of chased away thanks to the the Amazing Friends.
Yes,
I'm excited to be back.
Yeah. We're excited to be back. Yeah, we're done with Amazing Friends, gang. I decided. That's over. Part of me, like, I think there's only like 12 episodes left. I'm like, fuck that shit, man. I'm not. No. I couldn't
handle 2 more.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with that. No, thank you. But listen, there's a new Spider-Man show. Like I said, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and we're going to be getting into it. I talked about it a little bit on my previous show. Now, I've said this before, and I've told Sal this. These 2 episodes that we've watched were the only ones I watched before doing the show. I have not. So you might be like, I might make a note, and you'll be like, whoa. But later in the season, I haven't seen it yet. I've decided I'm going to watch these in preparation for these episodes. So I have not seen anything past these first 2 episodes. Wow. However, and I should have had an asset for this. I'll bring it up when it because there's a point where I think it matters. But I did see a tease because there's like 10 episodes, but they already dropped all of them in like 3 weeks. There's a tease for season 2 that I am aware of that I wouldn't have been had I not been pulling assets for the show, but that I'm now aware of that there's a point that I'll bring it up later. A tease for season 2, but we are going to start with season 1, episode 1, Amazing Fantasy. This originally aired on January 29th, 2025. Normally on Mutant Academy, I have Sal read the synopses because it's funny, but unfortunately this show came out in the Now Times, and so it's just the copy from Disney Plus, and so it's not as exciting.
It's pretty lame. Okay. Like it's during high school orientation, Peter's life has changed forever. A new era of Spider-Man begins here.
Yep.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because I think this will be one where I do have notes for the episode, but I do think this. I want to spend some time with Sal talking about my general thoughts on what it would take to make a good Spider-Man animated series. Now, because I don't know about you, Sal, I was pretty vocal about like this not clicking for me, at least in these first couple episodes. And people were like, "No, it's different. Give it a change. We want it different." It's like I hear you. We've done a lot of Spider-Man. Time for new things, but I think there's a way to do it. And in my opinion, I don't know. Parts of this work for me, but I don't know if this is the way that, for me, the way to do it. We're going to get into that. But let's dive in the episode. This starts with classic Peter is late for school. May, and this is all, for anybody who hasn't watched the show, all of the character models and stuff like that are meant to evoke the MCU Spider-Man. The Spider-Man... He looks like the classic 60s version, but he also looks like Tom Holland. May definitely looks like Marissa Tomei. She also evokes what they gave Marissa Tomei in that she doesn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, that's right. Big time. Yeah. She has nothing going on.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm already going to derail into because this ties into my frustrations with the MCU Spider-Man. because it very much feels beholden to that. Anyway, she packs some oatmeal. Peter misses the bus, and he opens his backpack to reveal the oatmeal she packed. And it's like, but you knew that was in there. It's meant to, the sequence is supposed to be like, oh, is it his costume? It's not his costume yet. It's just the oatmeal that was packed. It's like, yeah, but we already knew about fat. How does the oatmeal help him get to school on time?
Right. Also, like, this show, I've watched the whole show.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the show is this cares a lot about costumes.
I've seen a lot of them.
Real insistence on costumes. So, like, for them, they're like, there's no costume. Whoa. Because he's going to have, like, 3 costumes or 10 costumes.
Yeah, we're pulling. I saw we get the Future Foundation one, which I like that one in the context of what it is in the comic. And
it's weird that Osborn would design that, but okay.
Oh, is it Osborn? Whatever, we'll get there. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So May comes and picks him up, and I don't hate this because this is one of the few times May gets to be May-like, where she's like, "Oh, he's late for class," and she's like, "Yeah, but this is your first day. It's not my first day of work, so I'd rather be late for work than have you be late at school." And I'm like, I hope
that's cool.
Aunt May. Okay, fuck it. We're just gonna get into it.
Okay.
One of the things that is important to Spider-Man has one of the best supporting casts in all of comics.
Easily.
And I'm not saying that you can. And I'm not talking about the villains. Like Batman has some of the best villains.
Yes.
And he has a good supporting cast, but most all of them are people also dressed like other flying animals. You know what I mean? Like that's the Batman supporting cast. Day-to-day people, like people in Peter's life, Spider-Man is it's hard to compete with. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There's been a lot of work done, I think, in the Superman comics to get that supporting cast up there, but it's not this. It's not Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, Flash Thompson, any of the other ones they've created since Brand New Day that I don't know or care about. But I'm sure are great. I'm sure
Carly Cooper, Lily, whatever the hell, Hollister.
There's a bunch.
And every time that they turn them into like characters with like powers, they get exponentially more boring and uninteresting until they disappear forever.
Yeah,
like they are less interesting when they become a Spider-Man character. They are only interesting and they are compelling and people like them because they're Peter Parker
characters. And one of the core ones is May. And one of my issues with, and I think this will be a big part of our discussion, is one of the questions I have in my mind is, I do think, especially with characters with a lot of iterations, it is important to try new things. So at what point does it stop being the thing, though? Like we've had a half dozen or more Batman movies, and there's core components. Each one, he is a billionaire whose parents die. We love that part. We'll show every one of those movies. We'll show the parents die, whose parents die tragically, and that's what motivates him to be Batman. And Alfred is there. Alfred is always a key component. He's a grounding component, and all of those, no matter how. The Dark Knight is radically different than Batman and Robin. Yes. But those core truths, those pillars remain.
Yes.
And I think to the degree almost that they're sacrosanct. To the degree that when you have something like Absolute Batman that plays with those elements, but I think there's still parts of it, like his dad still dies. You know what I mean? Like I think there's stuff that you can mess with. You can make what Absolute Batman proved to me is you can make Batman broke, and that's still, there's a few extra hoops you have to jump through to explain stuff, but the character still works. You know what I mean? Yeah. And granted, that's not entirely fair because it's Batman. You could do almost anything to Batman and have it work. But my point being is, for some reason, and this is an example of that, I think, the MCU, Marvel Studios, feel the need to abandon, once we got a fantastic introduction to Tom Holland's Peter Parker in Civil War. Once we got his own movie, for some reason we felt the need to abandon everything. No Harry, no Norman, no Gwen, no Mary Jane. Like we just abandoned all of it for what is essentially brand new things. Yes. And then in this one, we abandoned all of that, all the stuff we introduced in Homecoming, which is, I would argue, is a poor facsimile. The problem with those new things is Zendaya is a very talented actress, a very talented performer. MJ as a character is two-dimensional compared to Mary Jane. Ned is not Harry, is anywhere near as compelling or interesting as Harry. This version of May, Marissa Tomei, is incredible. Oscar nominated, Oscar winning, could absolutely do a fantastic Aunt May. Young, and the idea of doing a younger Aunt May makes a lot of sense. What would that be like? But on screen, it's like there's nothing to. I don't know who this person is. I don't know what her wants and interests are. I don't know what her ambitions are for Peter. Whereas, like, you look at Rosemary Harris's Aunt May, and it's like, and so whatever little we built in the MCU Homecoming verse, we abandoned that for this, and it's like, why do we keep doing this? Why?
I don't know. I think it has everything to do, unfortunately, with rights holders and with allowances and weird legal bullshit. I think it's just, you can't do the thing. We can't do the thing.
Yeah.
What can we do that will make audiences excited? Now, nothing gets me excited about Peter having a best friend.
Do you really think? Because in one sense it makes me a little bit more forgiving. On the other sense, it makes me sadder. Do you think it's like, well, we can't do Gwen and Harry because we'd have to pay Sony more to do that, or there's some sort of concession we'd have to give? So let's make up new characters, basically.
Yeah, I think they can't use and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'd have. I mean, I'm sure the reality is it's Disney. There's nothing you can't do. Okay.
Yeah.
They just recently announced somebody actually said out loud, Spider-Man can't be in Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because Sony has live action TV show rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We have 30-minute rights to TV Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So he can't be in live action TV shows that are more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That completely changes everything, right? Yeah. Like that changes all of their plans, unfortunately in the wrong direction because because Disney Plus / Disney are completely hellbent and obsessed with streaming and TV shows.
Yeah.
Which is the wrong direction for entertainment. But congratulations, you've learned the wrong lesson and you spent $1 trillion to do it.
Yeah.
But that caveat means there's all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like why would you in Homecoming have Betty Brant in the high school environment and dress her like Gwen Stacy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why would you invent Michelle Jones and have her stand in for Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Why would you have Aunt May and have her be young and attractive? Why would you have Ned Leeds and clearly make him Genki? Ned Leeds, he doesn't meet Ned Leeds until after he graduates from college. Why would Ned Leeds?
And Ned Leeds that's a name only. Like the Ned in the show has nothing to. He is Genki. Like that. He is 100% Genki. And
but they can't use Genki,
Miles, man. And now we can't. Granted, the Spider-Verse movies have enough plates to spin, but it's now we can't even really do the Genki thing because they did Genki in Homecoming. Mm-hmm. Like what the hell, man? And so. It's that. So I think that's watching this show that is a core question on my mind, and we'll get to. I guess as we go, I'll unpack more about what about this show. And again, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and usually shows take a while to hit their stride. So maybe Sal's seen all of it. He doesn't sound like he's been sold, but maybe there's a chance by the time I finish these 10 episodes, I'll be sold. I don't want to be.
You might be sold because this does have a lot of core elements that the movies have just completely ignored.
Okay,
It is very much about balance and about having 2 lives and about having secrets and the highest stakes in a Spider-Man story should be about whether he's going to disappoint someone he cares about.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in the show.
Yeah,
so,
and I like that. I like that. I think for me, and we're going to get into in a minute. This as much as I'm into doing something different, this show simultaneously feels too not beholden enough and too beholden to the MCU. To the degree,
because it's not in the MCU. It's a completely different freaking thing.
Yeah, but we need to for some reason we need to explain why. And that's why I'll get into that because they go. So May drives into the school, and this is Midtown, where this is the school he goes to in the movies. But a Doctor Strange portal opens up, and we get a Benedict Cumberbatch sound-alike fighting Venom. I don't even know.
It's a symbiote.
Yeah, it's some sort of symbiote, sure. And so our first action scene in our Spider-Man show is a Doctor Strange fight. and the spider that bites Peter comes through this portal. Fucking get out of here! Like that, I don't want any. Like I don't. Guess what? Miles is our multiverse Spider-Man. I don't need this Peter to be our multiverse Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm talking about. Instead of just doing, hey, this is a new Spider-Man show, and it's just not connected to the MCU. It's like, no, we need to explain why it's not connected to the MCU. No, you don't. Just do a Spider-Man show.
Oh, it gets weirder too.
Yeah.
Like that spider thing is not exactly what you think it is, and they know it. Like they know what you think it is. Yeah. And they want you to think that. Okay. And I don't know why.
Well, we'll get into it, and I have my notes. I wonder if they'll do anything interesting with the multiverse angle that is part of it. I do have in my notes here that the spider specifically gets onto somebody else's backpack after Peter's bitten. I was like, I wonder if we'll do anything that. Well, spoilers for season 2, we're going to, because apparently Gwen Stacy is going to show up in season 2 as Spider-Gwen, and apparently it's not a multiverse thing. So one presumes this spider goes on to bite Gwen Stacy. And am I supposed to presume from this, because this is the assumption I'm running under, Sal, that had this portal situation not happened, this universe would have run like the MCU we know. So I am led to believe that there is a Nico Minoru in the MCU that is Peter's age, that had he gone to, what is it, Bale University, whatever they give the name, whatever the school is.
It should be Midtown High, but it's something else.
Yeah, the school he ends up going to because Midtown is destroyed. He, that person, Nico, exists and would have been a classmate of Peter's, and I guess Gwen also would have existed and had this portal situation happen, become Spider-Gwen, and apparently one presumes is living a normal, happy life in the MCU because she has no connection to Peter Parker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I understand that Nico Minoru is in this because they couldn't or didn't want to use Jessica Jones, but originally it was supposed to be Jessica Jones.
That would have been awesome. Because didn't Bendis establish that she was a classmate of Peter Parker?
Yes, indeed.
God fucking damn it. God damn it, Sal. God damn it.
It makes me so mad. I was like, no, it could have been Jess, but I think they want to have magic in here. And while Doctor Strange is in the first episode, he only appees in like the second to last episode. Like he's not.
Okay, so he does come back at least, I guess. And I like Nico. I'm a little bummed by the idea that in these 2 episodes, she's very definitely the emotional support of the white lead character. It's basically like, oh, I'm the non-white gay best friend who is solely here as your emotional support. And it's like, well, I hope we spend time on her life and what it's like.
We're gonna see it. Like they're very important. They're very like quick to tell you she has like a foster family, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It has really weird shades of like that Shazam movie.
Yeah,
where it's like, here's 2 parents who don't have a lot of means who just can't help but keep adopting children. Yeah. And I don't think they're actually they're foster parents. So like she's in a foster home. So like maybe they're prepping these kids for adoption. I don't know. But like she lives in a house. We don't see anyone outside of like the matriarch.
Yeah.
And like we do imply, I mean, like Nico is a Runaways character.
Yeah.
And is magic.
Yeah.
And so maybe there is magic in this. And maybe she is magic. But right now, at least as far as the first however many episodes there are. 10 episodes for the first 9 episodes. She is not magic. She is a normal person.
Yeah. And this makes me think, I kind of wish that Marvel had taken a similar tack to what DC's doing, where, Creature Commandos is canon. It's in the DC universe. What James Gunn's doing with the DCU. It's canon. It's in the universe, and it just happens to be animated because it would be expensive to do a monster show. And it's traditionally animated. It's not CG animated. It's traditionally animated. Because I feel like, an animated Runaway show that is in the MCU, but it just happens to be animated. That's not a bad idea. She-Hulk, which I'm on the record, I actually really liked She-Hulk. I thought it was, I think I like She-Hulk for a lot of reasons. I think part of it is one of the few Marvel TV shows that felt like a TV show and like behaved like a TV show. And also was not afraid to poke fun at, as somebody who likes these movies but thinks there's flaws, watching a show that's like, hey, isn't this part of the universe kind of funny? It's like, yeah, it is. But it costs them too much fucking money. So maybe if that had been an animated show, maybe, but still, Tatiana Maslany's the voice, and it's still in the universe, and it would have saved them some money. And also, I think
she could have appeared in the movies and be cool, and it wouldn't have cost as much.
It wouldn't have cost as much, and I think also the gateway of that. I think that's also a way of saying like, hey, maybe certain parts of the fan element, maybe the show isn't for you, and that's okay. Like I think with like something like The Acolyte, I think if they'd chosen pick one of the anime studios that did Visions, pick one.
Oh my god!
And had them do The Acolyte as an anime. Immediately, the most vocal, angry part of the fan base would have been like, "I'm probably not going to watch that," and it'd be like, "Good, it's not for you. Go away, go away. It's not for you. Exactly. This is for audiences that are okay with smooching and their things. Get out of here."
Yeah.
And so, I'm hoping that maybe I don't know why we're talking about DC. I guess because my brain shoots all over the place, but I hope that there's a few things that when James Gunn, if this is true, he's like, yeah, we've got writers' rooms and we don't film frame one until a script is done. I hope that stuff works out. And so other studios can be like, oh yeah, let's do that.
Maybe we should just have a plan before we start shooting. Yeah. Like movies are notoriously complicated and hard to make. Yes. And without a roadmap, they can get really expensive and really unruly really fast.
Yeah, so let's do that. Grayson in the chat is like, I've been wanting them to do an animated Power Rangers for years so they can do cooler stuff with it. Yes to that. Also, I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately. And one of my I had a dream of Power Rangers done in a CW Buffy-esque teen soap. And I'm like, yeah, that's...
Well, that's what it was. It's just...
But if you do that with like a CW like budget, it's like that you will make money, man. That will make you money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get those kids fucking.
Yeah,
and
seriously, that's what they were kind of going for in the movie, the most recent movie. It just sucked that the costumes and the Zords looked like trash, like they looked like goop. Like I don't know what.
Yeah, it's unbelievable why they put up, because it's like that should print money.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not against the instinct of trying new things, but pull from Ultimate Comics. Like the new thing you should be like, yeah, in this universe, Doctor Strange doesn't need to show up for me to know it's another, just do an animated show.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange doesn't show up I assume Doctor Strange doesn't show up in the first episode of the Ultimate Spider-Man and be like, by the way, kids, this isn't Spectacular Spider-Man. They just did a new one. Flip it. Uncle Ben lives, May dies. What's that Peter's life like? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like maybe have Peter be like Puerto Rican or Cuban or something, and he's been adopted by the Parkers, and he doesn't have any. He's not genetically related to them. Like I don't know. Like that stuff that you could do. Like what does that look like? What does that dynamic look like? It feels like not enough of either. Like it feels. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to ask you, Sal, how do you feel about this show looking like a PS2 cutscene?
Yeah, it's an ugly show. It's not that it gets better, but you get used to it. Which is unfortunate because like that is not how I want to consume my media, is by seeing something that I know is worse than it used to be and then being shouted down by legions of people who tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And the only reason why they think I'm wrong is because they were born after 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man, because when you see like production stills or stills that are like concept art that's traditional art,
the art is great.
The style is cool.
The style's fine, and the artist that it's based off of is great, and I love the look.
Yeah. The way it's animated is
Disney
bad.
Disney is cheaping out, and I don't understand how Disney got away with becoming like known for cutting edge, or at the very least like iconic animation, and being like the cheapest and worst at it.
Yeah. When especially TV animation, they like, you think about, and this wasn't stuff I grew up with, but you think about DuckTales and Tailspin and stuff like that. They like revolutionized daytime animation. Bummer. It's a bummer. And X-Men 97 didn't look cheap. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so they. So now we've established Peter. We've jumped forward a few months. Peter's been bitten by this multiverse spider, and now he's swinging to school again. As we were talking about, I actually don't hate the design. I do think we keep improving on the homemade suit design. On what that would look like. Like I like the idea that he has a stupid little tank for his webbing at first.
Yeah.
There's a little touch in the next episode where his little line, the little like tube gets caught on something, and I'm like, that's show how shitty it is and ways he needs to improve it. I don't hate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was thinking about like the 90s cartoon just now. and how like streamlined and gorgeous it was, and how he has like miniaturized webbing and all that stuff. And it's like it needed to be perfect because it was the first Spider-Man cartoon that anyone tried to make. And since the 60s, like the 80s, they were just like, make it whatever.
Whatever. We're competing with like Super Friends and shit. We're not trying too hard. Yeah.
This show was competing with Batman the animated series. And so like, we need to friggin' make it. We don't have time to show you like proto Spider-Man bullshit.
Yeah.
We got to make it right, and we got to make it now. And thank God they had the A team make that Night of the Lizard episode, because if they had done any other person from a Morbius episode in season 3, it would have looked like it would have looked like that.
Yeah, it would have looked like that.
Yeah, but this show where it's like, the audience is already aware of the IP. They can hang in there.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can look like hot garbage for like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Or it can look like anyone but Spider-Man until the end of the show. Like, it's only like the current crop of like movies and shows that are based off of like superhero IPs that could have the audacity to go, well, they put the costume on in the last episode.
For real, dude. Like, I think the most egregious one was that first season of Daredevil. Like 13 episodes.
Which I loved, by the way. I watched every episode.
Yeah.
And I loved those episodes because of the writing and the characters and the actors. It was great. But fuck you for making me have to wait an entire season for a suit.
For the suit. Come on, man. So he swings to school. He saves Harry Osborn from some bullies. They fucking TikTok it as he's beating him up. He accidentally bricks a kid in the head.
There was somebody who posted on Twitter, like some massive account that was like, Spider-Man is a streamer confirmed. Because of like the shot from the teaser. No, he took someone's phone there were streamer robbers. And he used one of their phones. That's how he gets his name out there faster. I did not hate that.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that either. Because again, we're going to get into it. There's stuff that I don't dislike about the show. I just think it's the MCU role. It's the Marvel Studio. Like they can't just get out of their own way at this point. Of course, he stops this. He's late for school, classic. And they're at Bale's High because Midtown's destroyed. We learned that his crush on the show is Pearl, who was his babysitter. Sal, I have a question about this. We learn that Pearl was... I actually don't hate the way this conversation plays out with Nico. He's like, yeah, she came over and, we hung out and she cooked food or whatever. Nico's like, wait, so she was babysitter? He's like, no. She's like, did Aunt May pay her? Yeah. It's like, okay. But he was 11 and a half when she was 14. How old is Pearl supposed to be?
Right?
I guess
so
17?
14, then she's 17. Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad. Okay. All right. It tracks. I was like, wait a second. All right. Peter excuses himself from he sees a car chase outside and he excuses himself from class and intervenes as Spider-Man. What would happen if he didn't?
Right.
What would happen if he just, because he makes, this is my issue. A good example of this is my issue with car chases in general, but a good example with the media we talk about is I really liked The Batman. I enjoyed that movie. I'm excited for The Batman too.
Yeah.
I like the car chasing. The choice of having the camera be so close to the car, I think, makes it less dynamic. But my main issue with that car chase, and I get it, you want to get the Batmobile in there. Their version of the Batmobile is sick. I like it. That scene makes no fucking sense, and Batman inadvertently manslaughters like a half dozen people.
I know.
By chasing Penguin to where he knows he knows where the Penguin lives, man.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
Just wait. I don't know.
Just kill him.
because Hollywood's obsessed with 3 things. It's Batman, it's the villain, and the Batmobile.
And I get it. I just make the stakes.
They didn't have a good. It was like, oh, he shows up, and they're like, no, put a car chase in here.
Yeah, but it's like, and I'm fine with that. You just make the reason better. It was one of my main issues with the Spider-Man Homecoming. The big conflict at the end, Spider-Man's lesson ostensibly in that movie is to learn to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And how does he prove it? By saving billionaire Tony Stark's all his toys and his flying plane when he could have just put a fucking tracker on it and got there when it landed, or held on to it when it landed. Instead, he crashes it into Coney Island, endangering however many lives. And so it's the same thing here, like... And it's just that I just wish we put a little bit more thought into this stuff of like why when Peter sees the car chase, what could those people have stolen? What is he protecting? Who is he protecting? What is the goal here?
But at the same time, like that's every car chase.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's my point.
Like, I'm sorry, is there a helicopter? Then just wait until they get there.
I get that we all want to live in a goddamn action movie, but like maybe just wait till they stop. It's another great example from a movie I dearly love, Heat. We get into a massive shootout in the middle of Los Angeles because these guys are stealing money from a bank. Oh, fuck off. Like, there's a guy, one of the guys in Heat holds this girl and fucking, it's Al Pacino's character, I think, is like, yeah. And then he's like shoots the dude while he's holding a hostage. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. Over what? Like, what's your cut?
Yeah, exactly. Like, fucking, like, God damn it. They even say the bank is insured. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. If you want to read a superhero comic that thinks about these things, that tries to think about the logistics of this stuff and maybe evolves the concept of a superhero, check out dangerboycomic.com. I believe if this episode's dropping on Patreon, I believe it's still live. If I do end up, this is the first time we're talking about the show, I might put it up on the public stream so you can know. So I should mention that here. If you want to see, what did they have to say about the other Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes? Good, you're in luck. Go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. Check that out. But I do want to emphasize for the people listening on Patreon, please go check out dangerboycomic.com. I spent a lot of time and energy thinking about what would superhero comics look like in the 21st century, and tried to put some energy into pushing the genre forward, and just kind of reevaluating, reimagining what a superhero comic could be, what that medium, because it's medium, I'm DJ Talks Trash, I talk a lot of shit, but I do love the genre. But I think with big corporate superheroes, there's only so much they could do. And so this is not that. It's on Kickstarter. You can go back, and now we've got incredible covers by amazing artists like Vincenzo Riccardi. That's been a big one. Tyrell Cannon, Tango. You can get drawn into the comic. As of this recording, there's only 2 left. So if you're listening to this on Patreon, you might want to go check it out, because it'd be cool to get drawn into this comic. And there's also some tiers where you can get my previous comics, Hellbent and Chaos Theory. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm really, really proud of it. The feedback we've been getting is great. And I just think if you're a fan of this show, if you're a fan of Spiderversity, or if you're a fan of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I think you're going to really like this comic. So dangerboycomic.com, go check it out. You're not going to regret it. Thank you for listening to my spiel. And now back to the show. Car chases, whatever. There's a cute bit where he's like, he like pulls off the bumper and he's like, get the license plate. And then he realizes he has it. It's like, that's cute. I like that. Back at school. Wait a second. Are we back at school? Yeah. All right. Weeks pass. He's back at school. The coolest teacher I've ever seen in my entire fucking life walks in.
Yeah.
That guy definitely was smoking. He was smoking weed in the bathroom, and then he comes into school like, let's get some knowledge into these kids. I love this guy.
Yeah.
I want to know everything about him. I want to hang out with him. I want to see him on Abbott Elementary. Anyway, he ends up. Sal, we're gonna get into another thing that I don't hate. So he splits up the kids in the class. Peter, after this car chase, Peter goes to ask Pearl out, but she's already dating Lonnie Lincoln. That part, I put a pin in that. We'll see how they deal with it. But these first couple episodes, like Tombstone Lonnie Lincoln.
Yeah.
I like the character in this show. He doesn't seem like Lonnie Lincoln to me, but it's fine.
No. But that's the thing, is that this show is good at knowing it's actually a show, and playing with the concept of a show and what a comic book would do with this character.
Yeah.
I don't like Lonnie in as much as Lonnie is a good guy. Yeah. Lonnie clearly knows that Peter wants to hook up with his girlfriend, and is super nice to him all the time. Like, Lonnie is unrealistically nice. Yeah. And not to say that people aren't this nice or good, but like, he is. And I guess the idea, and I think that what they're implying, I mean, like the fact that it is Lonnie Lincoln, it's Tombstone, is that this kind of facade is unsustainable. Like, you cannot pretend to be endlessly positive and selfless all the time. Yeah. Or it will make you freak out.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know if you're pulling from later episodes or whatever.
Future,
Yeah. I don't hate the idea that, like, especially since we've seen the world is hard on Lonnie. So like, and I do like the idea of somebody that is, I'm going to out. I mean, you're kind of getting into like respectability politics stuff where it's like, if I'm good enough, eventually that will pay off. And unfortunately, that would be great if that was true. That would be great if we lived.
That would be so great.
I
love that.
Actually lived in a meritocracy, that would be cool. We don't, unfortunately. Yes. But what I don't hate is, so Pearl ends up with Lonnie. You feel like you're kind of setting up like this is a Flash Thompson situation. And so when this teacher's like, I want to pair people off, Peter has the bright idea, I'm going to pair off with Pearl and show her how smart I am. But before he can do that, Lonnie asks to be partners with Peter. And then there's another great, and we don't do this enough, especially. And I think this gets into another issue with, I'm going to put a pin in this, but a big part of early MCU, starting with Iron Man, is a big part of the MCU is wish fulfillment. And I think we put too much of that into Spider-Man. But I'm going to put a pin in that once he gets his well-paid internship, his miraculous well-paid internship. But anyway, but for this, so we don't do enough with MCU Peter of him kind of being a prick sometimes. And so he starts being really condescending to Lonnie. He's like, I'm going to explain this thing. And Lonnie's like, no, I got it. In fact, I picked you as my partner because Pearl talked about how smart you are. And I'm like, this is interesting. And I like that because, you and I grew up for most of the media that at least I consumed growing up. Jock equals asshole. Sports guy equals prick. And I like that, like, not necessarily actually, Lonnie's actually pretty welcoming to Peter and appreciates how smart Peter is. But I think getting to your point, the idea that he wouldn't be like, when Peter's like, I'm sorry, that was rude. He's like, no, it's fine. It's like, actually, Lonnie, no, it's not fine. He's right to apologize to you. He was a prick.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? He was a prick, and Lonnie's like, nope, everything's cool. Everybody's a cool guy. Everybody's great.
Yeah. But I do like, I like this dynamic of, and we'll see where they go. This is a kind of an interesting thing of like, yeah, why would this guy be an asshole? Not that those people don't exist. I do think bullies exist. There should be some friction there, but I like that it's not coming from Lonnie. I think that's an interesting angle that I'm interested to see more about. We'll see where it goes. Yeah. I wish it was Hobie Brown. This feels more like a Hobie Brown character to me than a Lonnie Lincoln.
Hang in there.
Okay. But we'll see. So yeah, so they're touching it off. Cool teacher. We follow Lonnie on his way home from school, and he deals with a lot of casual racism. I'm going to assume that Hudson Thames, the voice of Peter Parker, did not read this part of the script, or else he might think it was woke.
That's true.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Nobody tell Hudson Thames the scene is in the thing. We see Lonnie's home life. Again, I have my notes. He reads this Hobie Brown to me. Like on paper, I'd read this like, oh yeah, Hobie Brown. This is a good take on Hobie Brown. But we'll see. Meanwhile, Spidey webs up a woman that stole like $10 from a pizza shop. What cash could she have stolen from this pizza shop?
Yeah.
Let it go, man. Just let her go.
I know that was what was like really like. I was like, what is this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I like that we're taking the time. He's like, it was a mistake, and she apologized, and the pizza guy lets her go. I'm like, you should have just let her go, Peter. How much could have she possibly stolen? Fucking what cash? How much cash do pizza? This is the problem. Nobody has cash anymore. They're trying to steal cash from Harry, and at least Harry points out to Peter, I don't carry cash. Yeah, why would he?
Yeah. No, it's weird.
He's super fucking rich. He's probably got a fucking crypto app on his phone. That's what they should. That's seriously, that's what they should have. They should have been
transfer all your coin.
His crypto wallet. That's what they should have stolen from him. Anyway. I do, but I like the extra effort of like maybe just because somebody steals, they're not immediately like a monster that should be punched in the face or whatever.
He shouldn't hit them in the head with a brick.
Yeah.
That'd be.
That was one of my favorite memes that was going around the internet after Spider-Man 2 came out, where it's one of Spider-Man doing one of his super combos, and they're like a woman that steals to feed her family, and then Spider-Man like kicks her into the stratosphere. Here's another thing that confuses me about this episode. So our opening offer is Doctor Strange shows up, and that's how Peter gets bitten by a spider. But so the pizza guy gives Peter pizza. He's eating the pizza. He finds he's so stoked for a DVD player. What is this, 2002? Like, what are we?
Because he grabbed a DVD player when he was.
But he said it was a Blu-ray player, I want to say, in the movie. I'll have to go back and watch Civil War. I actually really like Civil War. That will not be a chore for me. And my favorite, and even though logistically, I actually don't think it makes sense that Tony would reach out to this kid, this intro scene of Peter in Civil War is great. It's so good.
It's so great. It's so good. I love it.
Anyway, we're recreating that Left Hand Free. By Alt J starts playing. We recreate the shots of him carrying the Blu-ray player up to his apartment. And this is all the build to the reveal that it's not Tony Stark, it's Norman Osborn. But my question is, of course it's not. The first thing that happened in this episode was you said it was an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Why are we bothering?
But also, why? Who cares? Why are we showing you that this is a more satisfying version of the thing you're giving us? You know what I mean? I want Spider-Man and Tony Stark to team up. I wanted that shot from the trailer that they lied about. But but I also want Norman Osborn in here, and I want all that. Why are you giving it to me here but not there, but sometimes there and not here? What is this? What are you what do you think you're doing? Why are you doing it? If you want to give me a comic accurate Spider-Man cartoon show that honors Ditko and Lee,
do that.
Then do that.
Why do we keep? They were going to do that with Spider-Man Limited, and they fucking veered away from that. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do that. But no, it's gonna be like the MCU, and it's
why?
See, that's why Doctor Strange is wearing the Ditko accurate costume.
Cool.
But what?
Yeah, cool. I guess.
It's weird.
He wears an accurate costume in the movies too, to the degree that I'm I actually don't know that he needs to wear this costume. I think we could do trench coat Doctor Strange. I think that would work in the MCU, but whatever.
Yeah. He only wears the gloves in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, they look silly.
Adore.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, I was I'm glad we did. It's the same thing when they did the comic accurate Sam Wilson costume. I'm cool. Now we don't have to do this again. We did it, and we're done.
It looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, it looks weird. But same thing with Gambit. Good. We did the 90s Gambit costume. Great. So now we never need to do it again because it doesn't look as cool as I want it to. No, but let me float this to you, Sal. See how you think about it. Coleman Domingo is the voice of Norman. Coleman Domingo, great. Coleman Domingo is a really talented actor. But now I'm thinking again, you've seen the rest of the show. I haven't. Obviously, Norman Osborn, you think Green Goblin and whatever. But I don't know that does that work in what we're doing? Does that? And then I think about it. If Coleman was in the MCU, which would be great. His first Norman Osborn's Willem Dafoe's or Norman Osborn, and we just did the Green Goblin. Would it make sense to just cut to Norman is Iron Patriot?
Yeah.
Just jump to, we did the, Coleman Domingo was great, and maybe he could, but it's stiff competition to have his Green Goblin go up against Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. That's rough. That's tough. So let's just cut. It's Norman. It's the Norman but he's Iron Patriot. And we've already established the Iron Patriot armor. We're just going to jump to that. And I'm maybe that works.
Yeah. Well, especially if he's disgraced and he's destroyed and then he has to be Green Goblin. You could do something fun with that.
Yeah. I just think about I remember in what was it, Siege, that 4-part Siege where that's the culmination of Dark Reign. I think that was the arc.
Yep.
And they take off the Iron Patriot thing, and he's painted his face green. It's great. Yeah, maybe that could work. All right, so now we're into season 1, episode 2, The Parker Luck, which originally aired. It aired this year, gang. I don't know why, but I'm going back in '94. No, it aired in January of this year, 2025. Sal, do you have the synopsis for The Parker Luck?
Oh yeah. Let me pull that up. I actually removed it because I thought we jumped into it already. So
no. No, it's another.
Here it is. The Parker Luck. Peter begins an exclusive internship, but his first day is way more complicated than he expects.
Oh yeah, so this is what I was going to put a pin in this. So this is I think another one of my issues with the MCU stuff. Because Iron Man was so successful, and part of what made Iron Man, because for people that maybe are younger and don't know, or maybe forgotten because it's been like 20 years now. Part of what made Iron Man successful is it really went against what we had been doing with superhero movies. Like it ending with him saying, "I am Iron Man." It really leaned into, and this is part of what made the MCU fun to begin with, was this wish fulfillment. Like, what if it was actually like a fucking blast to be a superhero? You know what I mean? And that was very different than Batman and Spider-Man, which were like the biggest franchises at the time. And but I think we ended up trying to fit characters that didn't fit into that mold. Specifically, I'm thinking Doctor Strange. We tried to make Magic Iron Man. And Peter Parker, we tried to make young Iron Man. But the thing with Peter Parker, I mean, the name of this episode is The Parker Luck. And part of what made, at least for me, I don't know about kids today, but at least for me growing up, obviously it was heightened and melodramatic, but Peter represented struggles that I felt like I was going through. I had a part-time job when I was in high school, and it sucked. I also was not good with girls. And so, like, having... I know, like, it'd be weird to have a 15-year-old selling pictures to the Daily Bugle, but like I liked that he had a boss that hated him secretly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I love that. No, I love it
and so
too.
now we live in a world, like, this is the MCUification of it. Not only does he have an internship, which you could actually make, a lot of people have internships that suck. No, actually, it's a great internship and it pays really well. What fucking world are we in? What world is this?
Right. What an unrealistic and unrelatable situation he's in.
Yeah, that's not Spider-Man to me.
What they play with in this, I guess, is like, no, they can't. They don't do that. What they could have done with this is he risks it by being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's given a good opportunity, but because he's Spider-Man, he keeps flaking.
Yeah.
You know, but we already have that in school.
Yeah, exactly. We already have that in school. Or it's Norman Osborn. Have it not be a paid internship. Have it be like, no, this is exposure or whatever. Like, this is your opportunity.
Norman Osborn is all about merit-based stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to prove yourself to me.
Yeah.
Which he kind of does in the show, but like,
yeah,
still,
he's not Tony Stark. We don't have to pretend that this billionaire is secretly a good guy. In fact, Nico calls it out. Like, Nico's like, anybody that makes that much money has to have skeletons in his closet. Nico's right. Nico's right.
Yeah, that's right.
And so have it not be paid. Have it be like, is it paid? Fuck no. Are you stupid? Fuck no, it's not paid.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a cool twist on the MCU situation?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Whatever.
So, oh no, this is the beginning of this, is where he offers the internship. The reveal at the end of the last episode is Norman. This is the beginning of the internship thing. It is wild. Outside of the context of Civil War, where Tony Stark wants Spider-Man, this could have just been an email. Why is Norman showing up?
I know. There's no, like, it's not as impressive when it's some guy you just met that isn't like internationally, like an international superhero.
Yeah. So, Lonnie. So back at school, Lonnie introduces Peter to the rest of his football team. They're getting ready for a game. They're rubbing a trophy for luck. Lonnie hears that Peter's got this internship. She's like, you should be rubbing the trophy for luck. Again, don't hate what we're doing with Lonnie. And then we cut to. Yeah, when he goes to the internship, there's like a video of Osborn throwing a football to himself. I was like, this is a weirdly football-focused episode. I don't know.
I know.
I don't know what's going on here. And we meet Pete's fellow interns, which I also don't hate.
The smart people from the Marvel Universe being in here, yeah.
Yeah. So we get Asha, who's from Wakanda. Is Asha from the comics?
I don't know.
Okay. We get Jean, who's from Long Island. And, of course, we get Amadeus Cho from Lower East Side, which is cool. Amadeus Cho, that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. That could be cool.
Yeah.
I heard a thing that apparently he was supposed to be in Brave New World, but they cut him out. And it's like, fucking why? That's stupid.
I think he's like in it. I think they cast him and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
that's stupid. It's stupid.
I know.
Did we talk after I saw them? Yeah, we talked after. It was one of those, like, because I remember I told you, I was like, I don't know that I need Red Hulk fighting Green Hulk. And then as the movie's going on, I'm like, no, Bruce Banner should be in this movie. Bruce Banner should be
yeah. No, I finally saw it and I was like, I did enjoy it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I had fun, and the people I was with were like, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of nice to have like a movie that was about itself as opposed to being about everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's a real shame there's no Hulk in this movie.
Yeah, it's especially when I think it was once you got to the leader stuff. It was like, I want to see Bruce have this conversation with the leader.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah.
I like Joaquin a lot, and I like Sam's relationship with Joaquin a lot. But you could have had a Sam Bruce buddy comedy road trip movie.
But they needed Joaquin in there because they were like, well, he's gonna form the Avengers, Falcon's gonna be an Avenger, and you're not gonna know who the hell that guy is.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like, they should have. I think they could have done more with Leader, but I do like my favorite. Tim Blake Nelson's so good. I wish they'd done more with him. But my favorite thing is don't be boring. I'm like, more to this energy.
Yeah, that was fun.
That makes him distinct from the other villains. Do more with this.
Exactly.
Okay, the Amadeus Cho. He's in this show, and we don't get some J. Jonah Jameson, which I do think is a crime. How we've sidelined.
He's not in the show.
Yeah, I think it's a crime how we've sidelined JJ in the Spider-Man stuff. But we do get some of that energy with Paul F. Tompkins, bringing some major J. Jonah Jameson energy with Dr. Whitman, who is in charge of the interns and clearly loathes them.
Yes, he's resentful, and they'll find like the whole internship thing is like. It's for him, like it's for Norman. Like Norman foisted this on these people.
Yeah,
he didn't want this.
Yeah,
and he is really resentful of it. So yeah.
So he has them do tests to see whether they'll be a good fit. Peter in the show is really into robotics for some reason. They make him references a lot how he likes robots. Okay,
I'm like, okay, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but he ends up getting paired with Dr. Carla Connors, who of course is kind of a gender swap of Dr. Kirk Connors, and you think, well, they'll be in genetics. No, energy for some reason is what they'll be studying.
What?
Yeah, because they want to make this part make sense. Norman wants his own arc reactor. Of course he does. That makes sense. I actually like the way this line plays out because she says some science fiction gobbledygook. We need this type of thing, and Peter's like, oh, like a Stark arc reactor, and she's like, exactly like that, except. Not exactly, because that's proprietary.
So they own that, so I want something else.
Yeah. It's like, that tracks. I don't know how this gets us to the lizard.
Yeah, he's not in this.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't...
But she's missing an arm. Like, it's clearly the same...
Oh, no, she will be the lizard, but not in this show.
Okay, all right. Anyway, Nico calls Peter. They've been invited to a party after the game. She's like, don't you dare bail on me. Don't bail on me.
Yeah.
Grayson says in the chat, Connors probably gets pulled into a genetics for that project. We'll see. Why go through the trouble? Why go through the trouble of having her missing an arm if we're not going to do the lizard? But maybe.
I mean, they'll do the lizard eventually, but it just has to be weird.
Yeah,
that's the thing with modern Marvel.
Yeah.
It can't just be the thing.
Yeah,
it has to be weird and complicated. But we don't have enough people who actually know what we're talking about or doing in order to accomplish the thing you want. We know where it needs to go, and I'm trained in doing something completely different.
Yeah.
So we're going to get there, but it's going to be weird and complicated because it's not going to seem natural.
Yeah. Cool and fun. So this party's going on. They turn on the news. We get a brief glimpse of the wrestler Peter fights in the comics. Crusher Hogan?
Crusher Hogan?
Yeah. And then we didn't even talk about how Uncle Ben is dead before Peter even gets his powers.
Yeah, Peter is not responsible for Uncle Ben's murder, and it's the most egregious mistake and oversight. And it's proof to me that it was at least proof to me. It emboldened me to say this show sucks. It does get better.
Yeah.
But it will never not be a mistake.
Yeah.
Because that's why he's Spider-Man.
Exactly.
He's not Spider-Man for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd almost be like, Batman.
Batman chose to be Batman before the Waynes were murdered.
Yeah, exactly. Or his parents were, or you never even knew his parents. They died before he was old enough to know. Or his parents were still alive. It's like, but that's the thing. That's it. That's the thing.
That's how they,
So is the implication here that Uncle Ben died before he got his powers in the MCU as well?
I wonder if they're allowed to use him. Now, he's in the show. Uncle Ben is a cat. We see him physically in this show. Yes.
That's something at least. Good. Because I thought
they talk about him and they refer to him
if I were doing a Spider-Man movie set in the MCU, and who knows if they'd let me do this, I would have, because we've retconned it that Peter's supposed to be the kid in Iron Man 2 that has the Iron Man mask on.
Uncle Ben took him.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would, right after that kid with the Iron Man mask gets into Uncle Ben, picks him up after all that shit went down. Or maybe they're on their way or something. They're on their way there. Peter's like, oh man, Uncle Ben hates Tony Stark. He's like, he's taking Peter because he wants to support his nephew.
Yeah.
But you sense like, I don't like Tony Stark. And Peter's like, why don't you like Tony Stark? He's like, well, son, it's whatever. Well, Peter,
yeah,
I really believe that with great power must also come great responsibility. And I don't think Tony Stark is responsible.
Yes.
And so now now in No Way Home, when Aunt May says that to him, it is within context of Uncle Ben having said that to him. And it's within context of, because truthfully, when we do it in a universe without these other characters, it's a weird thing to say to a teenager. With great power must also come great responsibility. Like, what power do you think I have at 15? It works because he's Spider-Man, but Uncle Ben doesn't know that. But I think that really applies, especially in Iron Man 2 era. If he's telling that Peter that age, it's like, I think that would really work. And I want to see Uncle Ben in this universe. I want to see who Marissa Tomei was with in this universe. And I want him to have said the words. It's cool that May says it in No Way Home. I want it to be within reference to, it's a reminder. It's not the first time Peter's heard this.
Yeah, no, I think in the MCU, this is the first time he's ever heard it. And it's like, Ben didn't factor.
Well, I'll have my headcanon, okay? In my headcanon, that scene happens.
I mean, look, he does, I mean, like, two things they screwed up with Far From Home.
Yeah.
Really quick aside.
Yeah.
He has Ben's briefcase. It's monogrammed. They should have been really upset. Or in fact, it could have been a really fun ring plot, like in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Where he's like Uncle Ben's briefcase. This is like one of the only things that Uncle Ben like cared about. Like, you know, like Uncle Ben had the monogrammed. He loved this briefcase.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? Like, that he tries to save it and it gets destroyed. It's ruined, and it's a joke in Newark Airport where she's like, oh, where's your luggage? Oh, right, it blew up. Ha ha ha. Like, oh yeah, another piece of Ben is gone forever. Thanks.
Yeah.
That could have been really nice if they were allowed to talk about Ben. Another thing in that exact same sequence is Flash being like, oh, did Mother not come and pick me up? Aunt May should have given him a ride.
Yeah. Because again, there's not. You just referenced Spider-Man 3, flawed movie, very flawed movie. But I just think about like that Rosemary Harris scene where she gives the ring, leading up to the ring, and it's like Marissa Tomei could give one of those monologues, man. Like she could do it, and it says a lot about May. It says a lot about her relationship with Peter. It's the human stuff, and I know Marvel made a lot of money with the zip zap. We're having fun over here. But those Spider-Man movies, the Raimi Spider-Man movies are iconic for a reason, man. It's that humanity. Yes. It's that humanity.
Yeah. That's right.
Anyway, so of course, he's already at the internship. He's promised Nico he's going to meet her at the party. Of course, this is an opportunity for a supervillain to start burning down a building.
Yep.
This is a character in the MDB is listed as Butane, who if he's in the comics, I was going to say if he's in the comics, I'm not familiar with him.
Nope.
He does helpfully explain to Peter the scheme that he's a part of. He's going to burn down this building so they can build a high rise or something, except it's the wrong building. That almost justifies the fact that he's explaining the secret plot he's a part of. They fight. This fight spills over into an adjacent pet shop, which leads to a cute bit where Peter's trying to save the pets during the fight. And he dumps a fish tank on him. That's how that ends. We pause to see a logo on his little gauntlets that to me looks at least adjacent to the Oscorp logo, but Peter doesn't put those two things together. So
it is not the Oscorp logo.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait and see.
It's alliterative.
Alliterative.
Yeah.
How
many O's are there?
Multiple. But it's not Oscorp?
No.
Okay. All right.
It's another O-based character.
Sure. Okay. Well, maybe it'll occur to me later.
There might have been one in No Way Home.
No Way Home. What the fuck? Why am I blanking so hard?
Yeah.
I guess whatever. He's
a heavily armed character.
Okay. It's not going to occur to me. It's not going to. Who is it? Wait, why am I blanking so hard?
It's Octopus.
No, shit. I didn't. That's how much the MCU has braked my brain. I even know he's in the show. Wow.
Oh, he's
all
in
right.
the show. Maybe.
Cool.
Oh,
that's cool. Whose voice? They should have saved Paul F. Tompkins for him. He would have done a good Ock.
I know. The guy who plays him is really good.
Is it a named guy? Is it a guy? Is it like Coleman Domingo where we got like a guy?
Actually. He sounds like a guy, but I don't know him.
Otto
From anything.
Octavius. That's cool. That's actually cool.
Yeah, and they use Ramita's design. Like he looks like
That's
Otto.
cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. Who I would have picked if I were casting the MCU Doc Ock is I would have picked Bryan Cranston because he plays Wounded Ego very well.
Yeah.
Wounded Egomaniac.
Hugh Dancy.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So we got a guy. We got a name. We spent probably too much money on.
He's
shit.
good though.
I love Hugh Dancy. He's from Hannibal.
He's from Hannibal.
Yeah. I was thinking of. I think I was. Let's hope this actor has a Hugh in his name, or else I'm going to feel like a real idiot. Hugh Laurie. I was thinking. of
Hugh Laurie would be great.
Yeah. I love Hugh Dancy. Good for them. Good for him.
Yeah.
I would like to see both him and Coleman Domingo in the MCU. Let's do that.
Big two. Did you hear? I didn't hear it enough. So like maybe I'm wrong, but I saw a Coleman Domingo interview where he was like, "Yeah, they offered me Kang," and I said no.
Yeah, and I think you were the one that told me that. Was it post?
Right, yeah.
Was it post? What's his
face?
It was
after the exit of the previous Kang.
He would have been beyond the fact that his crimes. I actually think that actor was miscast as Kang.
Yeah.
But
it's a weird choice.
Coleman Domingo would have been better. He would have been a better Kang.
Yeah, but I'll take him as Norman.
Yes, absolutely.
Stick around.
So Otto Octavius. Well, now I'm excited for that. Gets back. He's chewed out by Whitman. A guard shows up, says Osborn. There's a running bit where Osborn says, "Come and meet me in the office," but nobody believes him. But now Osborn wants him in his office, and Peter is very apologetic about the day. He feels like he ruined it, but then Osborn reveals he saw him change into Spider-Man, which is something Peter should have. Of course, there's going to be security cameras in this building.
Yeah, what an idiot.
But what this blows my mind here is he didn't reach out to him because he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He showed up at Peter's house.
Yeah.
Just to give him an internship.
That's actually that doesn't fit. Does he explain it in this episode where he's like, I created the internship program to find Spider-Man. Like I used an algorithm.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Okay. Cause like later he's like, all those kids in the internship could be Spider-Man, including Peter.
Oh, that's actually cool. I actually don't hate that. Yeah. I actually like that. Cool. So those are the first two episodes. Sal, you've said some things. You're not keen on the show, but you have said some things that have given me hope.
Yeah, it's a watchable show.
Yeah.
I was really gritting my teeth the first 5 episodes.
Oof, that's half the show.
Or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like but it's one of those things where I'm like, well, I mean, now I'm in it and like things are happening. I'm like, that's fun. Like I appreciate what you're doing here. And like, every time you're doing something with character, it's like, oh, well, that's smart.
Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, we're going to be covering this moving forward. If I did put this out on the main thing, if you want to watch our rest of our coverage, it's patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. But yeah, we're gonna be watching the next 10 episodes. Spiderversity's back, baby. But Sal, where can the kids find you?
Swing by youtube.com/comicpopreturns or Comic Pop, or even Comic Pop Plays, where my wife plays Marvel Rivals for the most part at this point.
How's she liking it?
She loves it.
Okay.
She kicks ass. Like she's great at it. I tried to play it yesterday and it was embarrassing.
Does she have some go-tos?
Yeah, she has a couple of mains. I'm trying to think of like her. She does enjoy Jeff, but she's really enjoying playing with like some. She loves the fact that like that Ben Grimm is in the game now and she's playing with him a lot.
Cool.
But I don't know what her main is now that I think about it.
I wonder if it'd be one of those situations where, like, obviously I'd want to go to my favorites, Spider-Man, Venom, Moon Knight, but it's like, what
Spider-Man is unplayable.
That's a bummer.
Moon Knight is cool.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, like, what if I'm no good at my favorite characters?
Dude, I played Spider-Man and everyone made fun of me in the round. They're like, cool. Oh, new guy's here because they're playing Spider-Man, and I'm like, okay,
dude,
yeah.
That's why I don't play multiplayer anymore, man. I can't handle it. I don't want to be yelled at by 13-year-olds.
They were merciless. I was like, holy shit.
Well, go check that out. That sounds like a lot of fun. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. Check me out on Blue Sky. I pretty much abandoned Twitter because every time I go on, it's like being assaulted. Like it's crazy. So check me out on Blue Sky. Go to my personal channel. That's where Sal and I are talking about Superman movies. We're going to be talking about Steel next. Yeah, baby, Steel. And a lot of other stuff. DangerBoyComic.com. That's the main one. Go check it out and go back it if you haven't already. Truly appreciate it. I think your guys are really going to dig it. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.